Hello and welcome everybody. My name is Dr. Yasir Aqil and today we're going to talk about transactions. And transactions means that there is a currency involved in any and every relationship. Whether that's your relationship with your spouse, your children, yourself, your God, your mother, your father, whoever it is, your friends, there is always a transaction involved, and so there is always a currency. Let's find out first of all what currency means. We assign a value to a certain product, service, or action, and we want to exchange that value. So, in return for receiving that value, we want to return it in the form of a barter. And what we return it with that denoted value or that perceived value that we have in our mind, is called the currency. So, now let's look at some of the currencies that we use every day and how it makes for a good transaction in each relationship. First of all, we understand that the currency starts off at the beginning of our life with our parents. So our mother, for example, someone we always make sure is cared for, who is always making sure that she cares for us. What is the currency? Her currency is care and love. And this she invests in the beginning of the relationship. When you have nothing more to give at that time, she's investing herself and in the hope that you will love her back. And when you do, this exchange, this transaction is complete, and this transaction can keep going on. It's a big, nice, happy, vicious circle of transactional love, all right, and respect and admiration. Similarly, for example, you have a transaction with your children. You invest yourself in your children, whether it's emotionally, whether you invest your time, whether you invest your finances, whether you invest your love, because love is the primary currency between these relationships. So you invest your love and everything else sort of just flows with it, because you're invested in a loving way. You put your emotions into it, you put your time into it, you put your efforts into it, and so on and so forth, and whatever resources that you want to assign for this child to be enabled to do their best. Moving on, one of the currencies that we don't necessarily always want to talk about, or not a lot of people recognize, is the currency of God. Because goodness is the currency of God. So what happens in this relationship? Whatever God you may subscribe to, whether it's Allah, God, Bhagwan, whichever religion you believe in, there is always a transaction between yourself and your maker. And this is how it works. Your maker says, hey, listen, I want you to do good things, be good to people, don't steal, don't do this, don't do that. And instead, I want you to do this, be good to the people around you, pray to me, whether it's 5 times a day or on Sundays or whenever you feel like it, depending on your faith. You want to invest in what I have given you. So seek the goodness in the things that I have provided for you and be happy with the things. So invest in my currency. His currency is also goodness and love. And when you do that, he always promises you a humongous return. So he assigns such great value to your little investments that you are enticed to follow through with this transaction. For example, in my faith, I'm a Muslim by faith. In my faith, Allah says, you do good and I will return 70 times. So you give me one packet of goodness and I will give you 70 times the return in heaven, in the form of sawab, and so on and so forth. So what's important is that there is a transaction. Now let's understand what happens when this transaction is not complete, or you don't have the right currency, or you're not able to recognize this. So for example, let's take the example of God. He says that, listen, you invest goodness with me, I will return it to you in 70 times. I'll multiply it by 70 times, so if there's 1, I'll give you 70 back, all right? However, if you do not invest with me, then you're going to hell. And I'm going to burn you, and there's all kinds of tortures and whatnot. So this relationship is now lopsided, which means that you have failed to invest in the currency that this relationship needed to succeed, and hence you will now not just not reap the rewards, but you will also suffer the consequences. Similarly, let's consider the currency and the transaction between you and your loved ones. For example, you and your mother. What happens to a lot of these relationships is that they become flawed, or there's a problem somewhere because the transaction is not getting completed. So she may be giving you some love and you may be giving her love, but the currency is different. Here's how this works. When you were a child, she gave you the care, the affection, the time. So she invested with you out of love. These three things, all right? And when now that she's old, what does she want from you? Does she want your money? No, I don't think so. Does she want your time? Yes, she does. She wants to be heard, and she wants to know that you're there for her, and she wants to know that this is my child, and this child cares for me deeply. And she wants to know that you love her. So this is when this transaction becomes complete, and it becomes a relationship that is strengthened because of this exchange of values. And this is the currency of most relationships: love. So go ahead, tell yourself inside and your loved ones that you love them. Make sure that you identify what they need for this transaction to be complete. And I promise you, once you complete this transaction, your relationship will become stronger. Just realize what this person needs. What is the currency right now in my relationship? And everything's going to be perfectly fine, whether it's your loved ones, your peers, your colleagues, your friends, yourself even. So go ahead, make that transaction complete, and benefit from the rewards of exchanging value with yourself and people around you. You take very good care. I'll see you again. Till next time, give me a like and a subscribe, please. That would be awesome if I can get a like and a subscribe. And you take very good care. I will see you at the top.